I've read every single book with information about Graz'zt, and I do mean every single book, so I can give you the most complete lore possible. Welcome to We Love TTRPGs. I'm your host Aten, and let's get to it. This video has been years in the making, going all the way back to 1982 when I bought this adventure, and I was fascinated by all the new monsters found in the supplemental booklet. Though I could easily fill an hour, I've tried to condense this down to the most important facts that you can use on your adventures. Also, I have uploaded several other videos that are part of his lore, and I will continue to expand on that. So be sure to stick around until the end to get a link, and remember to keep checking back to see what videos I continue to upload.
I live for the moment when I can turn something pure into something perverse.
This demon prince is known by many titles, including the Lord of the Triple Realm. But how exactly do you pronounce his name? Gary Gygax, the creator of this demon, said in an interview that Graz'zt was the correct pronunciation, but I still mispronounce it as Graz'zt, a habit I formed in the 80s. And if you have your own spin on it, that's probably okay, since demons, devils, and celestials would never reveal their true name. The only person we can really be sure knows his true name is Iggwilv, the Witch Queen of Perrinland, who you might know as Tasha. Just like the succubi described in a previous video, this demon prince should not be the focus of any game involving children. The reason for that will soon be clear, and even with adults, if used correctly, you really need to be careful. While Graz'zt has never been described as forcing physical relations onto others, he's also not exactly an ideal spokesperson for consent. In fact, it is widely believed that Graz'zt created the evil Visharans, who I have covered in a previous video. They're a fictional proto-human race first introduced in 3rd edition's Book of Wild Darkness, which says that they reproduce entirely from non-consensual encounters. At the end of this video, we'll talk about respectful ways to adopt Graz'zt into your games. Now, Graz'zt is obsessed with conquering the entire abyss. He despises the fact that his rival Demogorgon is called the Prince of Demons. All of Graz'zt's plotting, planning, and nefarious schemes are methodical and intricate steps towards achieving ultimate power over all demons and every layer of the abyss. So who is Graz'zt? Well, for self-centered narcissists seeking pleasure through exploitation and power through coercion, there is no greater evil than the demon prince of indulgence and lies. He is among the mightiest of all demon princes, and though his hatred for Demogorgon and Orcus is legendary, his list of powerful enemies is as long as the abyss is deep. In his true form, he is a humanoid standing approximately 9 feet tall. However, there are tales of his avatars or aspects appearing up to 14 feet in height. Graz'zt has glossy black skin. In fact, in Gygax's Gord the Rogue books, he is described as appearing to have been carved directly from obsidian. He has greenish eyes with no pupils and has fangs that are yellowed. He possesses 6 digits on each hand and foot, with goat-like legs, though you will find images of him with normal human-looking limbs as well. Amidst his thick black hair, 6 small obsidian horns crown his head in a circular configuration. He surrounds himself with perverse decadence and unwholesome beauty, erotic excess, and prefers using seduction and manipulation to achieve his goals. Unlike most demons, he is patient and possesses the cunning of an archdevil.
Followers and cults.
Graz'zt's symbol is a black 6-fingered hand. If you see this symbol emblazoned on something, you're probably already in too deep. Priests of Graz'zt are called the Chosen, and most are female. The highest ranking in any given temple will always be female. In an attempt to imitate and please their master, his cults, be they fiends or mortals, are hedonists who engage in violent rituals of physical debauchery intended to achieve unending orgasmic gratification. Wearing little more than alabaster face masks, his followers gather in secret places to prove their loyalty with feats of sexual depravity, often making the use of mind-altering substances, magical or mundane, to reach the farthest realms of ecstasy. Graz'zt's lustful appetite is shared by all of those who worship him, and the depths of his decadence would make even Roman Emperor Caligula blush. These details make Graz'zt more suited for an urban-themed adventure, where his cultists are more likely to be found, rather than some fill the dark dungeon. However, 3rd edition's Book of Vile Darkness does suggest a temple found deep in the desert that might be occupied by at least 60 Lamia, faithful to Graz'zt. Furthermore, that book tells us thralls of Graz'zt are sinister, conniving, and thoroughly evil masters of arcane lore and dark secrets. While most who seek forbidden knowledge would spend their time studying ancient scrolls and tomes, a thrall of Graz'zt steals their knowledge from others through any means necessary, but prefer seduction and trickery over open combat. The Graz'zt family tree is extremely complicated and too lengthy to fully explore here, so we'll just review the most important facts. The mother of demons, an Oberth named Pale Night, is believed to have spawned Graz'zt. Among his many children, Graz'zt's sister Rixali is the demoness queen of shadow demons who rules Shadownon, the 49th layer of the Abyss. You can learn more about her in my Shadow Demon video. One of his brothers is the demon lord Lepercio, the Baron of Sloth, who rules Slugbed, the 128th layer of the Abyss. Now, talking about Graz'zt's children is where things get kinda complicated. Official sources claim that Graz'zt is father to many of the tieflings found in the Forgotten Realms. Did you watch the D&D film Honor Among Thieves? If we are to remain true to the lore, that tiefling druid Doric may have been a child of Graz'zt. Additionally, some of the tieflings found on other worlds, notably Greyhawk, are his children as well. If that's true, Graz'zt is a very busy demon. His child support payments must be astronomical. Among his offspring, you will find some infamous names. First is Ayuz the Evil, a Cambion demigod from the world of Greyhawk, whom he fathered with Iggwilv. His son, Arzael, known as the Blooded Baron, is a half-fiend wizard and minor demon lord of Subterfuge, who is said to lack ambition. He rules Baldurpain, a remote area of Pazunia, the first layer of the Abyss, also called the Plane of Infinite Portals. However, a contradiction to this appeared in 3rd edition's Fiendish Codex 1, which placed it within Graz'zt's realm of Azagrat. To make sense of this, it is suggested that a portal in Baldurpain on Pazunia leads directly to Azagrat. This would help explain the many stories concerning Graz'zt's increased focus on efforts to control Pazunia. An oddly named son, Rule of Three, originates in the Planescape setting. He is also featured in 3rd edition's Expedition of the Demon Web Pits. He is a Cambion demon, but disguises himself as a Gazeri sage. His true identity and heritage are a closely guarded secret. Always in disguise, Rule of Three operates from a tavern and rooming house in the lower ward of the city of Sigil, named the Styx Oarsman. According to lore, his ultimate goal is to unite the demons, daemons, and devils to obliterate the upper planes. And Aethux, a half-demon, half-drow son, who also serves as one of Graz'zt's generals. Lolth's most powerful drow high priestess, the much-feared Îggwilv, is his mother. So yeah, Graz'zt and Îggwilv totally hooked up. Aethix takes after his father in appearance. He is half drow and half Abat Delor, demons who all have ebony skin and 6 digits on hands and feet. Now, I'm not entirely sure if they also all have goat legs. I assume they do, but that's not always consistent in the art or descriptions. Of his many daughters, Thraxia is reported to be one of his most skilled assassins. According to legends, she has never failed to eliminate an assigned target. Her mother, now long dead, was a mortal human, and Thraxia once proved her worth and loyalty to her father by murdering 3 of her half-sisters. She appears to be a beautiful young woman with long dark hair, but with a small set of horns growing from her forehead and leathery wings growing from her back. Her wicked gaze and sharp teeth are extremely threatening. Her small, shapely form is supernaturally strong, and she has a wide variety of deadly enchanted items at her disposal. His daughter, Beliara, is a Lamia noble, and like others of her kind, possesses the upper body of an attractive human, while her lower body is that of a great serpent. Not much is known about Beliara, but an Eladrin had imprisoned her, and she now seeks revenge on her father for not attempting to rescue her. She might aid your adventures in an attempt to pursue her father, but she is known for violent outbursts. Any alliance with her would be very dangerous and very temporary. His daughter, Liska the Skulk, is a deadly assassin. Like others of her kind, she is a slender, gray-skinned humanoid that rarely wears clothing, making full use of her natural camouflage abilities. She serves her father faithfully, and she commands a small unit of male drow that will sacrifice their lives for her if necessary. Those she most favors will serve her in the bedroom as well as the battlefield.
Well, I don't want to get into the particulars, but I know that a bottle of Cavatier and a lady would definitely be involved.
Now let's take a look at some of his most important allies. While there are many powerful fiends who serve Graz'zt, his closest and most loyal is the soft-spoken demon lord Varen, who specializes in diplomacy and serves as a personal advisor. With an official title of the Voice of Graz'zt, Varen appears in the Gary Gygax Gord the Rogue books, and he is listed among other demon lords in the Monster Manual 2 for 1st edition AD&D. His name may be spelled B-E-R-I-N or B-E-R-O-N. Though he has several forms, Varen typically appears to be a tall, androgynous albino human male. It is said that most who first encounter Varen wouldn't recognize his fiendish nature, if not for the aura of spiritual slime that surrounds him. Graz'zt is almost always defended by 13 exceptional Babau demons and 2 very powerful Merilith demons, Unhath and Reluhantis. Genmissa, Catrixi, and Ulanda are 3 of his most powerful succubus guards. Another succubus serving Graz'zt is Yatara, who commands a small group of succubi specially trained and skilled in infiltration and espionage. Throughout the different editions, if a demon is depicted as having exposed boobs, you'll find them hanging out with Graz'zt.
I am shocked and appalled.
A fiend as ambitious and powerful as Graz'zt will certainly have amassed a number of prominent enemies. Online sources claim his son Aethix helped him defeat Adamarcus, the Prince of Madness, but the truth is more complicated, and Aethix didn't help so much as participate in events which resulted in Graz'zt's victory. Adamarcus is an insane fallen angel who once ruled Occipitus, the 507th layer of the Abyss. And though it is now without a ruler, Graz'zt has yet to conquer that particular layer. Additionally, Malconthet, the self-proclaimed queen of the succubi, is a bitter rival, and the two have long engaged in a subdued war against one another involving the use of spies, assassins, and subterfuge to undermine and hinder the plans of the other. The exact origins of this feud are unknown, but rumors persist. It is the result of one rejecting the sexual advances of the other. Exactly who spurned the other depends on who you ask. It is well known that Demogorgon and Orcus are at the top of Graz'zt's list of enemies, but throughout the lore, he has come into conflict with every one of the most powerful demon lords, such as Baphomet, Inogu, Kashtiktika, and Sokathvinath, and Lolth. But this is by no means the full list. So let's take a brief look now at Graz'zt's home. Because this video focuses on Graz'zt himself, we won't spend too much time on his abyssal lair. Graz'zt is said to have surpassed even his Obrinth mother in power. And while other demon lords struggled to control just a single layer of the abyss, Graz'zt is ruler of the 45th, 46th, and 47th, collectively known as Azagrat. Extending to all 3 layers, the largest of Graz'zt's cities is named Zelatar, which he crafted entirely from the souls of mortals from the prime material plane. The inhabitants of Zelatar consist mostly of demons, cambions, and other half-fiends, such as Tiefling, Lamia, Lilitu, and other evil entities who revere Graz'zt. Many of Zelatar's residents appear to be beautiful females, and all are wicked and depraved. Generally, if you have a charisma score of less than 10, I'm guessing you wouldn't even be allowed to enter the city. Within Zelatar can be found his personal residence, the Argent Palace. His palace is composed of 66 ivory towers, and countless mirrored hallways are found within. The towers are constructed from the dentine of huge whale-like creatures native to the astral plane. In a testament to Graz'zt's perverse sense of humor, he allows Bodak to wander the mirrored halls of his palace. I have a separate video about the Bodak, and you can find it in the playlist for this series. I love the idea of wandering Bodak roaming the palace of such a vain demon lord. However, it does conflict a bit with the lore regarding Graz'zt's rivalry with Orcus, since those fearsome creatures are servants of the undead lord, and Orcus can see through their black eyes. I'm not sure I'd want my castle filled with spies from one of my greatest enemies. So we must assume that Graz'zt, in his superior intellect, allows this for reasons known only to himself.
Real-world lore.
Unlike Orcus, Demogorgon, and many other fiends from the early editions of D&D, Graz'zt was not adopted from the mythologies of Earth and invented entirely by D&D's co-creator Gary Gygax. Who exactly Gary might have had in mind when creating Graz'zt is not entirely clear. However, Graz'zt's seductive character and goatish legs, they suggest the Christian Lucifer may have served as an influence.
D&D history and lore.
Graz'zt first appeared in the Lost Caverns of Tsjocanth adventure from 1982, which tells us that Iggwilv accidentally freed the demon Graz'zt, whom she had imprisoned and forced into servitude. Then, his first edition AD&D stats are given in that adventure's supplementary booklet, which says that one of the most powerful demon princes of the Abyss is Graz'zt, lord of an entire lair and dedicated foe of both Demogorgon and Orcus. Reappearing in 1983's Monster Manual 2 for first edition AD&D, his lore and statistics are only slightly updated from the Lost Caverns adventure. In the first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Graz'zt was a demon. But then in second edition AD&D,
we weren't allowed to use naughty words like demon or devil.
It was in third edition D&D that we were told Graz'zt's mother was the Oberynth Pale Knight, a demon lord of unimaginable age. We should also consider that Gary Gygax had actually given us his own demonic origins for Graz'zt in his Gord the Rogue books, which were published between 1985 and 1988. According to Gygax, Graz'zt is a renegade Abat Dolor demon, and was once the consort of a Princess Alazalag, overlord of the Abat Dolor. In 4th edition's Demonomicon, we were told that servants of Graz'zt revel in the more subtle tactics of trickery and deceit rather than brute force. And Graz'zt teaches his followers to twist their enemy's will, turning ally against ally in the heat of combat. And cultists of Graz'zt weave a subtle illusion around a nearby foe, causing another enemy's attacks to target that foe. Some stories claim that Graz'zt was an archdevil in the service of Asmodeus, who led an invasion into the Abyss and became corrupted by the chaos there, yet he still retains a diabolic affinity for corruption and manipulation. In other stories, Graz'zt left the Nine Hells to establish his own kingdom, free from Asmodeus' shadow.
Relationship with Iggwilv.
One of the most famous, twisted, undeniably toxic, and arguably abusive relationships in all of D&D lore is that between Graz'zt and Iggwilv. In Dragon Magazine number 414, it suggests that Graz'zt and Iggwilv have many children who may not even be aware of their parents' identity. This could offer a real surprise for the player using that "I'm an orphan" character background trope. I have a complete Iggwilv lore video coming in the near future that will discuss their relationship in better detail. However, the lore also says that Graz'zt was nearly triumphant against the forces of his chief rivals, Demogorgon and Orcus, when he was pulled from the battle and imprisoned by the mad archmage Zagig, who was also one of Iggwilv's lovers.
DM tips.
If you're looking to roleplay Graz'zt in your campaign, or just want some ideas about his personality, all you need to do is Google traits for malignant narcissistic personality disorder. The primary characteristics are sense of self-importance, preoccupation with power, beauty, and success, entitled, can only be around people who are important or special, interpersonally exploitive for their own gain, arrogant, lacks empathy, and must be admired. So basically, Graz'zt is an Instagram model with an OnlyFans page hoping to launch a reality TV show about his life. Similar to my advice on using succubi in your adventure, it is probably not a good idea to have Graz'zt directly manipulating a player's character. At least not at first. It would be a better approach to have him seduce an important NPC, and then the player characters would enter the story through this, perhaps seeking a way to convince that NPC that they're in a toxic relationship. And when that fails, as such things always do, they have to try to protect that NPC from Graz'zt's further advances. And what happens if you don't break free of his control over you? All mortals who become enthralled by or worship Graz'zt eventually succumb to the madness of Graz'zt. Among his flock, this is considered a blessing, not a curse.
My own pleasure is of paramount importance. Everything else, including social graces, is triviality.
Graz'zt is well defended. He is no stranger to assassination attempts from foes far greater in power than any threat the player's characters could ever hope to muster. Adventures linked to Graz'zt would certainly include witches, lamia, and succubi, just to name a few of the many terrifying foes standing between you and this abyssal lord. Be sure to check out my videos covering these topics. If your player's characters intend on pursuing Graz'zt, they will be met with a vast, well-prepared, and unsurmountable army defending their target. Just the basic lore concerning Graz'zt tells us he is guarded at all times by Babao demons, lamia, succubi, and Marilith. Even if you could get past all of his personal guards, defeating an aspect or avatar of such a powerful entity might only be possible for the most powerful of characters wielding artifact-level magic. To kill such a being's true form is another matter, and should be an impossible task during the course of a typical D&D campaign. As an alternative, you could create a campaign that involves the creation of some powerful ward, or invokes the aid of one of his many enemies to keep Graz'zt away, thus preventing him from gleefully murdering all of the player's characters.
Well, I can tell by the empty bottle of Cavatier that it is time to say goodnight.
So if you want your fantasy role-playing games to leave a lasting impression, and I know you do,
may I suggest you consider the butt?
then Graz'zt may be the perfect big bad evil for you.
Yeah.
I hope I've been able to give you some valuable information regarding the Demon Lord of Pleasure. And if this has been useful to you, please remember to show your support by liking the video and let me know in the comments what you think so that YouTube knows that this is a valuable video and to share it with others. I'm also working on a deep dive into Iggwilv, and go check out my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.